Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about recent important press releases. With us today, happy to have him back, Terry Lynch, CEO of Chilean Metals, but soon to be, most likely, Power Nickel, but right now trades on the TSX Venture on the stock symbol CMX. For those of you new to the story, this is why we're talking. Chilean Metals has a great portfolio of land packages in Canada and Chile. But they recently made a significant property acquisition in Quebec, which is called the NIsk property. They acquired it from Critical Elements. They can earn 80% of that property, and it's already got a 43101 resource in nickel and platinum group metals. Just to give you a small taste of it, the 43101 2009, 1.255 million tons of 1.09% nickel plus. Indicated 783,000 tons, inferred 1.05 million tons. So, massive property. And that's why the company is in the process of changing its name. The headline, Chilean Metals to change name and spin out two Pubcos through proposed plan of arrangement. Terry, big things. Welcome back.
Hey, George, great to be here. Thanks for having us on again. We're pretty stoked about the news. We think it's transformative, and we felt, that we had to make the announcement fairly soon. I was giving, doing presentations in the U.S. and Europe with hedge fund investors and family offices and resource funds, and of course they would be asking and saying, "Well, we love this nickel project, but what about the gold projects? What about Chile? What's going to happen? They don't seem to fit together." And so I felt like we were explaining, hey, yeah, we plan to probably spin them out, at some point, soon. But I also felt we were sort of getting into a selective disclosure, scenario where some guys were knowing and not other guys were knowing, and it's just not fair. Plus, I thought, if all these people, if that's a primary question and concern, we should clarify that as quickly as we can for our shareholders so they can understand, why we're doing it and the math behind it. And so that's why we made got the press release out there and made the move.
The name Power Nickel, right? Does that demonstrate an incredibly high level of confidence in NISK?
It does, yeah. Basically, resources are a very risky business. Most of your time in junior mining, you're trying to find a resource, make a discovery with a drill hole or a series of drill holes that says, hey, I've got a resource. And then it's like, then you need to take the resource into becoming a mine, which is getting it to a size that justifies it being mine, and then making sure the metallurgy works and then the math works in terms of the economics. So I would say, typical exploration is probably, I don't know, maybe certainly 1,000 to 1 to actually go to become a mine, something in that order of magnitude. So we'd probably, in my mind, reduce it to 50-50. So still, obviously, but that's tremendous, right? And we feel we can definitely skate it on in from here. It's you mentioned about the resource up front. I do want to make a point, just because OSC reminds me I should, it's a historical resource.
Right. Yeah, that's why I guess in 2009.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, because it's just a dating thing. But we're obviously going to do, that'll be one of the outcomes of the next thing. We're modeling up the deposit right now, and we plan to be drilling sometime in Q2. And our vision will be to obviously generate enough new resource and whatnot to upgrade the technical reports. We'll actually have an official technical 43101 probably out early fall that will hopefully upgrade it, add some more tons to the study, and then we can drop this historical stuff. I think what's exciting,
so in Chilean Metals right now, what's staying there is going to be NISK, the nickel property. That'll name change be Power Nickel.
Yes.
What are you spinning off?
Yeah, so we're basically going to spin off the Golden Ivan project in the Golden Triangle, which we're super stoked on, and we can talk about in a sec. And then the historic Chilean Metals properties in Chile.
And that's just two companies, right?
Yeah, yeah. We just felt that they would probably be best sort of spun out that way. It's going to be the same economic cost to us in either event, and we felt that this would give our shareholders a bit more bang for the buck. And it's all about trying to create value for shareholders, since that's what we own. We're not here because we want a job. We're here because we're investors, and we want to make some wealth in our shares, and we think they're hugely undervalued right now. So this is a way to hopefully unlock the value.
Devil's advocate, what do you say to shareholders who say, hey, maybe it would be better to keep everything under one roof? You got synergies, lower costs of being public, all those kind of things. So, at the end of the day, and I'm sure, Terry, you're a very well thought out guy. You obviously went through all the different scenarios. Why at the end of the day was it better to spin these out individually rather than, build a conglomerate under one roof and call it
I guess the biggest
resources or something?
Fair enough. The biggest single reason is that the investors that like battery metals are quite different than the investors that like gold and copper exploration. So that's the number one reason. So that people can see that we're focused on in Chilean, or the new power nickel. We're focused on building a battery metal mine, hopefully, and that people will start to put us into comparables that are appropriate for us. So that would lead to, I believe, a shift in valuation for our company. And your cost of capital is a weapon, right? It's what defines you, because you need capital to move the dial. You need capital to add resource tons, and ultimately to do PEAs and PFAs and stuff like that. So if you're not trying to sort of enhance your capital, cost of capital, you're not doing a good job. So we just feel this is the best way for us to create more value for our stock, which should ultimately translate into better, more efficient capital raises going forward.
So let's talk about timing, because both of these have quite different timing mechanisms. One is the name change. When do you expect that to happen? And typically that happens a lot quicker than the reorg and spin out. So let's talk about timing of each one of those. Ballpark, we're not going to hold you to an exact date.
So we think the name change will happen sort of late April, early May, be our timeline. And then we think Q3 is when the spinouts will happen, probably earlier. We've done it purposely now because we're doing our audits for the year ends, and these things all have an audit proportion to it. Each of the subs gets audited, etc. So it was capital efficient to do it now in terms of the process. So we're in the midst of it. So the next 2 or 3 months will be painful from it, just as
no pain, no gain.
No, just from a if one audit is fun, 3 audits is is less than fun.
I don't want to be.
It is what it is, right? So but you have to do these things, and then they'll be done, and then we'll go from there. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, what was interesting, one of the thoughts we had, I think if you were in a down cycle in mining, you maybe still keep the thing together and just not worry about the other projects, just focus on the nickel. But we're not in a down cycle of mining, we're in an up cycle. So this is a go time. So it's like all these 3 properties deserve to go now. So we got to put them in the best vehicle for them to go. So one of the reasons why we're able to acquire NIsk and why we're able to acquire Golden Diamond was we had a well-structured, tightly held Pubco. So now what happens is we're going to spin out 2 well-structured, tightly held Pubcos. So it's going to make it possible for those companies to also look at other, creative acquisitions and opportunities. So that because we're in this go zone where all of a sudden, I think there's going to be ways to build companies, and create value for shareholders. And one of the tools, one of the tactics, one of the weapons will be a well-structured Pubco. So we're going to have 2 more in our family, so to speak.
Is it too early for you to be able to tell shareholders about what the impact's going to be on their holding? So, for example, if Mary owns 100 shares of Chilean Metals today, what can you tell us?
Yeah, I can give you some guidance, and it's ultimately going to be somewhat determined by the tax advisors and stuff. But if you own 100 shares of CMX today, you'll own 100 shares of Power Nickel tomorrow. So nothing will change there. If you own 100 shares, our guess would be you would have 20 shares in each of the newcos, because that would probably create a Pubco with about 13, 14 million shares outstanding, something at the end of the day, depending on all the warrant exercises and stuff that was coming in. So that would be attractive structure to start with. And so that's sort of, that would be my ballpark guess, subject to, tax advisors saying.
Yeah, for everyone at home, we're not going to be holding Terry that number. That's ballpark what they're thinking, but we still get that subject to being finalized by all the advisors. Terry, let's talk about management for a second. Look, Power Nickel on its own with NIsk is going to be a fantastic major undertaking. You got the Golden Triangle property. What are you going to do about management? Can you run all three of these companies? Or
in the exploration stages we can, and we can because of sort of a unique set of circumstances. Critical Elements is our partner in NIsk. So Critical obviously is building, or will hopefully soon be building its Rose Lithium deposit, which is just down the road from us in James Bay, and so they've got a whole team in place, and part of our abilities to go forward is we'll be developing the geology and the drilling programs together on that. So they're very much an active partner, and they know this area very well. So in many ways it makes it easier for us to execute. So that they'll be part of the execution program in that. So at the early stages of exploration plays, when you're basically just trying to raise capital, trying to identify the good geological targets to go after, and then executing it on the drill bit side, those are things that can be managed fairly. They don't need a ton of people. They need some people, but we're okay now with Critical to sort of sit and do that. So, and then of course the drilling rigs are from third-party people anyway. So it's just a process. So no problem to execute on NIsk. Same thing with the Golden Triangle. We've contracted with Apex Engineering, which is a very experienced operator in that area, and they're going to do our work this summer. That basically the first wave will be more I would say geophysics and whatnot, and sampling, and then looking to drill hopefully end of the window there, which is August, September, and we think that would be the route to go there. I mean, what's exciting about Golden Ivan is both Strike Point, which is to our south, and Scotty Resources have had very good intercepts, and they're trading around $30 million valuation last I looked for both of these companies, and so we're in our view, our property package is in our mind going to be worth that, we think, and maybe more. We think that the porphyry possibilities there may be on our property. That's what it looks like to us. That's the guess.
Wow.
We think that we know that the veiny stuff that they've already called is highly likely to be there, because literally, Strike Point's, one of the Silverado's best intercept is literally on the edge of the property. So it's highly likely that goes through, and on our side. So we think there's almost like we're playing with house money here. We believe there's certainly a veiny opportunity up there, but the real upside would be if these porphyries are there, and if they are, they're probably, it looks like geophysically like it's on our dirt. So or most of it. So we need to poke some straws down in there and see if that's the case. And if it is, then well, so that would be exciting. So
first time I've heard it referred to as poke some straws. Hopefully you can suck out some,
that's the analogy for sure.
Well, Terry, thanks for coming on to kind of explain that to us, because and we want to do a deeper dive into each of these, but I think the bigger, more important thing here was to make sure shareholders understand why the reorg, why the name change, why not keep it. I love your answer. Why not keep under one roof? If there's a slow time, you keep everything under one roof, but we're in expansion time for resources. So it makes sense for each one of them to live and breathe on their own.
Yeah.
And can't wait for the name change to happen. This may be the last interview you have on record. We're going to sell this as a collectible.
Yeah. It may well be, George.
Right. And I'm going to have to put my guys to work to create a Power Nickel
There we go. There we go.
Background for you. But
All right.
great, very exciting. I got to tell you, this is the first time. Terry, have you ever seen this before? I've quite often have seen a Pubco spin out an asset or a group of assets to a separate company. I've never seen the spin out of into two Pubcos. I think that's fantastic.
I haven't either, and we just decided that we'd do it because it was cost effective to do so, and they're quite different. Like the Chile assets are quite different than the BC assets, so it made sense to spin them out like this at this particular time in the cycle.
Will you retain the Chilean Metals name for the Chile assets?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And no idea of name yet for
the Consolidation Gold and Silver.
Oh, so you're going to call it Consolidation Gold and Silver?
Yep.
All right. So you've already got the names out there. So the family is growing. The babies have come out, and the babies are in the oven, but they're ready to be coming out.
That's the plan. Yeah, we started we've called them Patrick and Mary. They're good to go.
Well, congratulations, Terry. I think shareholders are going to be really happy about this, and so exciting, especially on the power nickel side. I mean, we haven't, like I said, we'll do a deeper dive. We haven't even spoken about your thoughts about developing a process to potentially produce nickel sulfides responsibly for batteries in the electric vehicles industry. But,
yeah, I mean, the amazing thing with part of the reason why I went with the power nickel name was we're in James Bay, so the hydroelectric power is literally across the street from us, their substation. So this is going to be the greenest battery metal project in the world. So that'll be attractive, I think. So let's hope we can scale it to. I mean, the key thing is we're at historically 3 million tons right now, and we need to get to 10 to be a mine, and obviously we want to get north of that, but we're not asking us to reinvent the atom. It's a very doable number, I think.
Listen, great project, great partner in critical elements. Fantastic.
Right,
smart spinouts. It's great to see, Terry, your vision really taken off now, and that it seems like 2021 is going to be a transformative years for you, the company, and the shareholders.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. We're excited about it. Finally, after many moons of disappointment and heartbreak, this will be good.
The overnight 10-year success story. Right?
Totally, George. You know this better than anyone.
Congratulations, Terry. Can't wait to have you back. Not sure if we're going to have you back with CMX Chilean, or if this is the last, of an era, or if we're going to have you back as Power Nickel. But either way, I can't wait to have you back.
Cheers, bud. Talk to you soon.
For everybody watching at home, you've been watching or listening via podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Terry Lynch, CEO of Chilean Metals, CMX on the TSX Venture Exchange, soon to be Power Nickel, but that Chilean Metals name we know is going to stick around. So, that isn't going to be lost. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you now put the company on the map, because it's spinning out not one, but two companies. And that's a fantastic, dividend bonus, call it what you want it. But this is something you got to do your due diligence on and make sure you're hopefully a part of. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.